Wayne and Bao are my two boyfriends, and they're gonna be calling 3 o'clock in the morning. Wayne had the house number. So now mind you, I have my kid, my husband has his kid. We have kids. And by the way, it's my house that I pay for. I pay all the bills. Everybody's dependent on me. I'm the boss. Like, you don't pay for nothing.
You don't answer no phones around here.
Whatever, I do. I remember just waking up my husband like, hey, I gotta go, I'm taking the Rover. You gotta move your car.
You couldn't move it to the street and then pull yourself
No,
out.
I'm not doing all this manual labor. And then he would move the car. And then I remember one particular night, I was in my car, I was backing out of the driveway. He moved his car into the street, and then he gave me a kiss goodbye. I'm like, all right, baby, I'll see you in like 2 or 3 days.
Not 2 or 3 days.
Yes, and then I'd be gone for 2 or 3 days, and then I would go home to my husband, and he would have my dinner waiting, my bath water ran.
I want to be like Elizabeth when I grow up.
And then a glass of wine, like, welcome home, honey. Did you have fun? Yes, bitch, I had so much fun.
I find her story, or recounting of the story, whether it's true or not, to be highly performative and whatnot. And I just want to say that she's way overrated and shit. She's way overrated, and she deals mostly, her stable of guys consists mostly of weak and suspect individuals and shit. Okay, she's overrated. I remember her back in the 90s as video vixen. I don't remember seeing her in no videos. She doesn't look like shit to me. She blends in easily in the background and shit. This is not hate or nothing. Just being straight up honest and shit. Keeping it 100. Like, this is highly performative and shit, It's the equivalent of locker room talk that the boys do, that they chide us over and call it toxic masculinity. Whatnot. If she really had this guy there, he was a guy with no business of his own. It was a fucking Pookie or Ray Ray. And I'm sorry to guys actually named Pookie and Ray Ray, okay? I'm sorry to mean that, but the women made these names up. And, if, your name is Pookie or Ray Ray and shit, the sisters gave, worthless black men in their estimate, these names, these stereotypical names. That's why I use it. But Corinne Steffens is, whatever. I've seen some pictures of her where she looked like a whole snack and shit, and that's mostly her gram stuff from back in the day. But like I wouldn't, she's not somebody I would go to first if I was a celebrity, as somebody she would be looking at. She would get turned down. She would get laughed out of the building and shit and whatnot. And she did like pornography and shit, and I'm not judging for that. But when I looked at it, it was no big deal. Like, I saw what she was doing, I was like, man, why did they call her Superhead? I've been with several women who could literally take her title away very easily and shit, Be like Batman fighting Bane and shit. I've been with some real superheads of different colors and ethnicities and shit, as a matter of fact and shit. So it's like nothing really special about her. Other than she wrote that book and she put a bunch of people on blast, and that should have been the end of her in Hollywood. Old school Hollywood, she would have been shut out and shit. But here she is holding on. She's like, why don't she just tell the girl sitting there that she was an escort, okay? This wasn't no polyamorous bullshit, Like, Wayne and Bow Wow are cool with her, with both of them dating her and shit. No, you just a jump off and shit. They have tons of women laying around that they can call and shit. If you didn't return that call, another bitch was going to be going there and shit, because a lot of these women who chase these guys, they don't give a shit about themselves or have no self-respect or nothing and shit. It's not a romance and shit. You're bringing him a hole, okay? A hole, H-O-L-E. You're bringing him a hole to put his shit in, okay? You're used up peace leave. That shit got too much mileage on it and shit, okay? It's not even on the used car lot and shit. You get your peace leave from the fucking junkyard and shit, okay, sister? Alright, I feel bad hearing that shit, a guy putting up with that shit, but, it just makes me think, I like to think that it was all part of the plan and shit. He was living there for free. You said you bought the house and all that bullshit. He had a kid and shit, and he got his kid free housing and lodging and shit and food in your fucking house, and he took care of your kid and he watched you go out and fuck other dudes and shit. And when you left, no doubt about it and shit, if he's a decent man, he probably called a sitter and went to see a side piece who looks better than you and fuck their brains out and shit. So what I would do if I was a scumbag, and a loser that depended on the female and shit, intentionally. A lot of the time in the hoods, you females target these, what you deem lesser men and shit because you want control and shit, because you want to be that supposed alpha, but you're weak and shit. You're codependent. What can you do without him? And when that guy cycles out, you get another, codependent, lazy ass motherfucker and shit. Or you get a good guy and then you fuck him over so bad he becomes that stereotype and shit. Why don't you talk about that? Why don't you talk about that? I wonder. You're busted and shit. Okay, you're busted. Okay? This shit is used up. You slept with Mr. Marcus and shit, man. That motherfucker passing around syphilis and shit. He had venereal disease. He got like blacklisted and shit in the community. In the porn community and shit. For spreading around venereal disease and shit. Lucky you didn't fuck Darren James and you'll be HIV positive. You've been around this shit. Then he had that shit where he was with Darius McCary and almost drove the man to fucking suicide and shit, and a bunch of shit, he probably almost drove Bow Wow to fucking suicide. He likes, aggressive, fucked up, suspect, behaviorally suspect women and shit, okay? Like it's with that chick that kicked his fucking ass and shit, at the Shaq birthday party. It's a lot of women out there. There's nothing special about you. You're in a crowd and you blend in easily when better looking women are standing in front of you and shit. Your daughters, these 304s, these city girls and all this shit, they've ramped this thing up, a notch and shit. We're making you look like a better option. How do you feel about that? Alright? How do you feel about that? I'd like to ask. And, before I go and shit, I'm gonna do the thing, okay? We're gonna do the thing because this is, this is Bust Down Friday. Bust Down Friday is alive and well. Alright, Miss Steffens. Alright, because I know you did shitty porn, not even good porn, like shitty porn. You wasn't on a set or nothing. You was just like when I saw the porn, you were so desperate for money. You went to like the office where they financed the porn and shit. It was just like a shitty room in the office. And I've been to Porn Valley in California. It's not shit, okay? People don't think it's some magical place like the Playboy Mansion and shit. It's a bunch of industrial buildings and shit with these offices. It looks like the auto body shop, literally. I've been in there. I didn't even go there, but I've been there, man. I say some fucked up women and shit. Don't think these women look hot all the time. You usually go and you see them without their makeup. I've seen women like Miss Steffens here giving a blowjob while I was just standing there waiting for my friend to pick up, a merchant bag and shit, I've been there, man. Like I see chicks like her sucking a dick and shit. I seen a chick running away from sucking a dick. And then like I saw her and I asked her why she was running away or something because I was worried that I might have to call the cops. And she said, "Oh, they stupid. They gave me the money first, and I don't have to suck a dick now." And the bitch ran away. It was so funny. That was like a white chick and shit. So I just want to say, to me, here's, it's gonna be a collective groan, but you're average at best. It's not even my fucking rating this shit. I've seen you. The best photos I ever saw you was on Instagram and shit. I saw some photos, I didn't know it was you. I was like, oh man, look at that shit, But it wasn't no big deal. It wasn't like, damn, if I saw the bitch, I would have to step to her, even as a regular nobody, nothing guy and shit, with a faceless avatar and altered voice and shit. So I tell you what, Miss Steffens, because I consider everything you've done in life and who you are and being, somebody that's untrustworthy and shit, where having no discretion in the pursuit of your own supposed bag and shit. Maybe it's been quite lucrative. I don't know, maybe you got the OnlyFans now, who knows? I'm gonna give you two motherfucking empty White Castle boxes.